Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome back to the Highmaul raid guide for normal and heroic. This time we'll be looking at Korag. This fight consists of two phases which go back and forth, but each time they do, it gets a little more difficult. The fight always starts with Korag using expel magic fire. Now this is going to apply a magic debuff to everybody in the raid which does damage over time. When it's dispelled or when it expires, it's going to do an AoE around the target, so stay spread out until it expires, heal everybody up, and when that's gone, stack up. You want your ranged and healers to be stacked on the outer circle and your tanks to be tanking on the inner circle. Obviously your melee are going to be somewhere near. Now the main reason you want to be stacked up is because of trample and suppression fields. He'll target a random raid member and start charging towards them. When he reaches where they were, he'll leave a suppression field. So nobody wants to get hit by that. That hurts a lot and it's going to silence. So be wary of that. When you're inside the suppression field, it's going to deal damage and it's going to silence as well. Whenever one of these comes through, simply move around the room, either left or right. Some other abilities to be aware of are Expel Magic Shadow and Expel Magic Frost. Expel Magic Shadow is going to apply a healing absorption effect on all of your raid members. Being stacked up is very nice for this. Simply use one of your large healing cooldowns like Tranquility or Healing Tide, or just heal through it. That needs to be removed as quickly as possible. Expel Magic Frost is going to throw down a large frozen orb on the raid. It has an initial blast of damage but doesn't do anything after that. It also has a slow component which can be removed very easily with things like Stampeding Roar. So when it happens, just move out of its range with something like Stampeding Roar and then continue the fight as normal. The last Expel Magic is Expel Magic Arcane. This is something for the tanks to worry about. It's going to mark the tank with aggro and they're going to start pulsing at their feet. Those pulses are going to kill pretty much anyone that gets hit. So the tank who is marked needs to kite those away and the tank who hasn't been tanking needs to taunt Korag. Make sure that tank has a clear path to kite it, otherwise half your raid is going to die. So the last ability you need to be very careful of is Overflowing Energy. This is an orb which will float towards the ground and it's marked by a yellow swirl. When it hits the floor, it's going to deal a large amount of raid-wide damage. But if it's intercepted before it hits the floor, so if someone stands in the yellow swirl, it'll deal about 1.6 million damage to that target. That goes through all damage reductions and all immunities. So the way this fight works is that Korag has a nullification barrier. This is a magic damage absorbing shield and you need to break it because every 10 seconds that it's active he'll gain a stack of Breaker's Strength, increasing his damage done by 6%. When you break his shield, he'll start recharging and an additional overflowing energy will begin to spawn. Now when he's recharging, you can send one player into the center with him to gain a shield. That player is going to take a lot of magic damage over time and is going to be affected by a healing reduction buff, so you need to make sure you know who is going in there, and that's why no one else should be anywhere near the middle of the room. That one player will gain a shield of about 15 million magic damage, allowing them to absorb the initial impact of one of the overflowing energies. So only one is going to hit your raid. But one is always going to hit your raid. When you have one shield, you're going to have 2 orbs. When you have 3 shields, you're going to have 4 orbs. If any of those players doesn't get their orb, your raid is going to get hit for a massive amount of damage, so they really need to be on point. While he's recharging, he will also spawn 3 waves of 3 adds. These are arcane anomalies. They're not really threatening on their own, but when they die, they explode for a large amount of AoE damage across your raid. That can, however, be silenced by the suppression fields which Korag has been laying about the room during his other phase. So make your way through the first phase, break his magic barrier, have one person collect a shield each time it's broken to absorb excess orbs, nuke down the adds inside a suppression field, and have your physical damage knocking his health down all the while. That's Korag in a nutshell. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.